The Jags. Oh, God, Jacksonville. Now this is Duval football. I know for years I would come on here and call the Browns the skid marks of the NFL. And the Lions are their own special level of loser. But there is no question for that the past decade, the Jacksonville Jaguars have obviously easily been the jack-offs of the fucking NFL. I mean, at least if you were going to do this, Tony Khan, why don't you tell your dad you want to do it on Dynamite last night? So that way you can at least pop a rating. I mean, at least get something out of this whole Urban Meyer experience. I'm sure all of you that are watching this certainly know by now that after 13 games, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Jagoffs of the NFL, have fired head coach Urban Meyer. Oh, God. Even for Jacksonville, this is a Jacksonville. I mean, this is an absolute dumpster fire of an organization of the highest order. And the fact that you could point to this and you could say, as bad as you might have thought previous ownership was, it's a reminder that new ownership is not always a good thing. Because whatever the Khans touch, apparently, when it comes to sports, turns to absolute crap. Now, certainly, there was a high-risk scenario here with the hiring of Urban Meyer to begin with. As yes, he certainly has a record of turning things around in short order, winning big games, winning championships, then generating controversy, and then, oh, I got a health issue, time to go be a commentator before the shit hits the fan until I get my next opportunity. I mean, that's been the Urban Meyer coaching cycle, the life cycle for almost the past 2 decades. But, trying to give the benefit of the doubt here of, hey, the Jags are trying to do something different. They were trying to make a statement. We'll see whether or not the statement makes sense or works or not, but you're probably going to draft Trevor Lawrence, so you want to bring in a guy that you would think, in theory, his offensive system would fit with the quarterback. So as easy as it is to shit on it now, and we're going to do a lot of that, at the time, I could understand the thought process and the logic behind hiring Urban Meyer to be the Jaguars head coach back in January. But, oh, God, you could tell almost instantly that this was going to be really, really bad. Now, just think about if you had put money on the first 2 head coaches to be gone this year, be frickin' John Gruden and Urban Meyer, you would have won a lot of damn money. Urban Meyer was officially hired as the Jacksonville Jaguars head coach on January 14th, 2021. And I'm looking at this story on ESPN, and I want to give you a timeline of the jag-off that is the Urban Meyer experience in Jacksonville. Remember when they hired Chris Doyle in February, the strength and conditioning coach? Or they hired him as director of sports performance, excuse me. He was a strength coach at Iowa. They hired him, only to have him be gone a few months later. Didn't even make it to the beginning of the season because of the accusations of racism and bullying and belittling black players. Generally something you probably want to vet in the hiring process, especially when your league has a majority of black players. And that was just the beginning. Like, they drafted Trevor Lawrence in April, and I had my concerns. He was not my QB1, but I got it. I understood it. Like, he was destined for that spot, blah, blah, blah. But then you turn around and you draft Travis Etienne with the 25th pick in that draft when you already have James Robinson. And then Urban Meyer comes out and basically admits, yeah, we really wanted Kadarius Toney with that pick who went 20th to the Giants. Already, Making one of your first round picks feel like shit to say, yeah, we really didn't want you here. We just bumblefucked into you. Then don't forget in May, they signed Tim Tebow to play a tight end. What is he, 33, 34 years old? In July, if you remember this, I even forgot about this. The Jags got fined $200,000 and Urban Meyer $100,000 for excessive contact during an OTA on June 1st. They also had to forfeit 2 OTAs next year during the first week of the 2022 offseason. So already into just the offseason piece. He's already admitted they got a guy they didn't really want with that first round pick. Had to fire a guy because of racism allegations. Signed Tim Tebow so they can waste money doing that. And $200,000 out of the Jags' pocket, another $100,000 out of Urban Meyer's pocket for OTAs. And we only reached fucking July. Then, of course, if you remember, they started alternating different days with Minshew and Lawrence with the number one team reps. So that way, of course, instead of giving Lawrence all the reps to prepare for the regular season, even though you know you were going there all the fuck along, because you knew you were probably going to trade Minshew, they let him split reps. So, of course, Trevor Lawrence wasn't as prepared as possible for the first season. Then remember when it got to the cuts at the end of August, beginning of September, Urban Meyer just flat out comes out and says, yeah, we consider vaccination status in the releases. And the NFLPA opens up an investigation. So the one thing you can't do, basically, is say that you cut somebody because they weren't vaccinated, and Urban Meyer fucking does it anyways. Ding dong, dumb dick, this ain't college anymore. You can't do some of that shit. You're gonna get called out on it. Then, of course, we get to the beginning of October, and who can forget the grinding of a woman on his ball sack or whatever the fuck in that bar after the Thursday night loss to the Bengals? Then you start getting the allegations coming out this past week or so. Marvin Jones Jr. having to be persuaded to return to the team facility. That report said Urban Meyer had said his assistant coaches were losers and asked him to defend their resumes. Getting shut out 20-0 by the Titans. Urban Meyer denying the allegations. Then Sean Khan, the team owner, says he's not going to make any hasty decision, will not be swayed with emotion when it comes to Urban Meyer, which basically was a damnation right there. Then you got the accusations of Josh Lambo saying that Urban Meyer kicked him in the leg while he was stretching in warm-ups. So, in the middle of the damn night, at like 1 a.m., the reports come out that the Jacksonville Jaguars, after 13 games in a 2-11 record, the Urban Meyer experience has come to an end. Duval! Oh my God. Who in the hell would want to be associated with this dumpster fire of an organization at this point? I'm sure that I'm going to see all types of tweets today talking about Trevor Lawrence and James Robinson doing some celebrating now that Urban Meyer's been fired. But I don't know what the fuck Trevor Lawrence is celebrating. He's played like shit, and he'd be lucky if Urban Meyer didn't ruin his damn career. God. You just drafted a quarterback number 1 overall, and the coach that you hired to work with them is gone after less than a season. And not only that, a coach that you paid a lot of money to. The real drama is going to be is whether they fired him with cause. Because if they fired him with cause, that means they're not going to try and pay him the money, which means it's going to go to court and all this other shit. Otherwise, if they fired him and they still have to pay him money, wasn't he getting like $9 or $10 million a year for 5 or 6 years? That is a shit ton of money to tell a guy basically to go fuck off. Do I feel bad for Jags fans at this point? No. They're used to it. They're big boys and girls. All 10 of them. They can handle it. Duval football! Oh, and the Cons are building a world-class winning organization in Jacksonville, aren't they? Isn't it fair to say that Mike Mularkey in his one-and-done year in 2012 got more games as a head coach than Urban Meyer? This was your big statement hire. A coach grinding on women that aren't his wife. Getting into battles with coaches, fights with players. Hiring alleged racists. Just coming out saying, yeah, we cut players because they weren't vaccinated. Saying, yeah, we'd rather have this guy as a first-round pick. Oh, God. This may go down. And this is not hyperbole or recency bias. This may go down as one of the absolute worst head coaching hires by any team, any organization, any point in time, period, in NFL history, period. It's not only the failure on the field, the lack of development for the alleged face of the franchise quarterback. You're talking about all the drama and subplots that came along with this guy over the course of 2021. You'd be really hard-pressed. Well, this coach went 1-15, or this coach did this. No. They didn't bring all this bullshit with them. This might be the single worst head coaching hire in NFL history. And it's just another reminder of just how bad the Jacksonville Jaguars are. They are truly, even more so than the Lions. Oh, yes. Don't let the record this year fool you. Even more so than the Lions. Stubbornly cling to 2017 all you want, Jags fans. The Jacksonville Jaguars are the biggest dumpster fire organization in the National Football League. They are the Jagoffs of the NFL. And oh my God, why in the hell would any coach worth his weight in anything want anything to do with this raging ass dumpster fire? Urban Meyer was their big move and he lasted 13 games. That's it. Duval football!